You're such an asshole.
And we'll just have to turn off the camera because we have South Dakota internet. We got a request. If you got a request, you can always go to hassleconsulting.com. Hi, Cappy. I watch a lot of your YouTube videos and like the way you explain things with cursing and swearing. Without giving you an entire life history, I'm a Stanford chemical engineering graduate who is in his younger 30s. I got to Stanford by doing very well in high school. No, I'm not daddy's money or connections. Like, well, why didn't they shoot you? Like, don't they smell like when someone actually had to work for a living and got there on merit? Right? Stanford's one of those, isn't Stanford the Ivy League? Well, it's one of them high-end schools. Like, don't they like immediately kill you if they smell that you're not one of their own? I took high school seriously, took all the AP classes, 4.0, excellent ACT, SAT scores, all conference sport. I don't want to identify you too much. Because of this, I got a scholarship to go to Stanford. Okay, I got up to Stanford. Is that the one in California? Stanford University. Where the hell is that? Stanford. Yeah, university. Okay, yeah, this is the one that's got the nice looking campus and everything. I just want to know, is Stanford Ivy League? No, it is not. Okay. So you're yeah, I knew it was it's still a snooty school, don't get me wrong. To me, this was my ticket out of poverty and a bullshit family upbringing. At Stanford, I decided to study chemical engineering. My thinking at the time was what was going to give me options in the future and what was going to get me paid. Fast forward to now, younger 30s, and recently decided to walk away from a chemical engineering job where I was working on designing lithium mines. See, that's what I like about engineering. Like, you actually do what you set out to major in. Now watch a bunch of engineers go, I didn't do what I studied, but I would expect a chemical engineer to design lithium mines. It was a typical corporate job, and I experienced a lot of the symptoms of corporate America that you often describe. And here's what caught my attention. I believe you 100%. Boomer boss nitpicking on the color of font, all that kind of stuff. I agree. I believe that happened because I had a baby boomer boss who didn't like the shading of gray on the color of my charts. And for all you baby boomer bosses out there, I know you're not listening. But if you are, and I'm not talking the handful of baby boomers that tune in who like the show and are real men. For all you baby boomer bosses, you are such inferior pieces of shit. You are so stupid. Like, the sheen came off. I wish it was like, oh, there's something wrong with us. We're young. We don't know what we're doing. And somehow you would be the wise people. No, you were it was all fake. It was all fake. I don't think you boomer bosses are capable of guilt or shame. Like, yeah, we hoodwinked them and we literally fucked over the United States. God, we feel sorry about what we did to our children, our children's generations. I don't think you're capable of it. But what will piss you off is the fact you are inferior, you are incompetent, and you are losers. And the payment's coming now. I think the payment is coming because most of you didn't save up enough for retirement, and none of your children are going to fucking visit you. None of them. None of them. But yeah, it's out now. You're the butt end of jokes. You are not the old wise patriarchs. Oh, listen to the old wise man. Like, shut the fuck up, boomer. Why you go one of George Soros's paid protests? I hear they're paying $8 an hour for you to go out there and hold up a misspelled sign. So yeah, it does not surprise me that at a lithium mine, right? Chemical engineering. That's kind of important shit, right? It does not surprise me that somewhere in there is some mid-level manager, or maybe senior level manager boss who says, hey, I don't like the color of the font. And what I want to focus in on that and use that as an example for all the younger people out there. Look, guys, you're not the one with the problem. We're in an era where the individual is right and society is wrong. Normally, it's the other way around. Usually the individual is being an asshole, being a dick, And society's like, hey, we got some rules and norms and mores here. Nope. Society is wrong. The individual is right. And for the love of God, for you young people, please do not suffer like this guy did. Please do not suffer like I did. Please don't suffer like us Gen Xers did, where we thought for decades there was something wrong with us. The fact his boss is complaining about the color of a font shows you they are wrong, you are right. And to choose, even this guy chose correctly, went to a great school, chose chemical engineering. Even if you choose correctly, you're still going to run into it. But at least this guy could go and work somewhere else, right? So please make it that you are not at the mercy of corporate employers. Now, the managerial class is moving from baby boomers finally to Gen X, and Gen X is no better. I think this is more of a function of corporate America. But please do not be confused like we were. Where it's like, "Oh my god, what did I got the wrong font color?" No, these people, you cannot work for these people. And if you see something like this, you need to leave, which is what this client did. I just wanting you I wanna hold this up as an example. When your baby boomer boss, regardless of age or gender, okay? When you're pejoratively using the phrase baby boomer boss complains about the shading of gray on your chart or the color of your font, it is time to leave. And it helps a lot to have a good background like engineering, accounting, surgery, doctor, whatever, self-employment, part-time gig, minimalism, all that. So you say, yeah, fuck you, I'm gone. My life is too short and precious to deal with the mental pain, the insanity of having a boss who is going to bother me about the color of font I chose on whatever, a PowerPoint presentation or report. It's like being married. It is like your boss and coworkers are kind of like a family. It's like kind of like a wife and children, right? Or husband and children if you're a gal. And your wife is complaining about the dumbest, most pettiest things. But Cappy, isn't that all women in America? Yeah, pretty much. I don't like the coffee. I'm joking a little bit, of course, but in some ways not. Right? A lot of you have been married to these gals, and I can't even begin to imagine the petty. Like my girl doesn't bother me about petty shit. She's literally will be able to identify, "Oh, you're not interested, are you?" I'm like, "Nope." Okay, sorry. But they'll about what I don't know. I didn't like the way you mowed. I'm sure somewhere in the annals of US history, there has been a woman who's complained to her husband that instead of mowing, you know how like the baseball diamonds, they get that nice pattern of mowing, right? That crisscross pattern. I'm sure somewhere in the history of America, a woman has complained to her husband that he did it the wrong way. And that's when you leave. That's when you leave. All that kind of stuff. For a number of reasons, I decided I had enough to quit my job. I'd saved enough in the micro fuck you fund in order to do this, and now I'm in a position I've never been in. I paid off my minor student loans, live in a house that is paid off. Where have all the good men gone? No credit card debt, paid off car, no kids, no girlfriends. I do jujitsu competitively, and I'm pretty good at it. There you go. There. Overall, I know I'm a smart, competent dude who works hard, but have thoughts that I'm selling myself short often or could be doing more. What would you do in my position? So I asked him, I asked the guy, I says to the guy, so basically you've been going since you've been in kindergarten. From 5 till now, you've either been in school or work. Also, how long have you not been working? And he says, bah, bah, bah. Yeah, I would agree with that. Either in school or working up until this point. So for most of your childhood and all of your adulthood, you've been working or in school. I quit my job 2 weeks ago, so it's still pretty fresh. For the first time in my life, there's a real sense of freedom. Right. This, buddy, there's not a sense of freedom. There is freedom. You don't have to do for the first time. Let's do the math. I don't want to do for the first time in what, a quarter century. For the first time since you were 5 years old, you're actually free. I had this feeling too. Let me tell you a story. So I was at the bank in Minnesota, and I had it. I had it with my boss, and I just quit. I just left. And my boss actually fucking called me and asked me where was I and why am I quit? And I just read him the riot act. This is the same boss that his company got a cease and desist order from the FDIC or the OCC. I walked into his office and congratulated him in person. That's how much of this is the one who was complaining about the shading of the charts. Now he's dead because he was a fat fuck. This guy ruined several small community banks. But anyway, I remember I walked out, I'm like, that's it. I went home, got a bottle of Rumplemints, chilled it, sat on my back patio, drank and played video games. Just sat on the back, had a cigar, and that's what I did. I remember sitting on that back patio, like, what am I going to do now? You know, like this was, I didn't have, I had somewhat of a micro FU fund, but I did not have your background with a chemical engineering degree where I could probably go work somewhere else. But I couldn't take it anymore. But that freedom where I'm like, I don't have to answer to this shit. I don't have to deal with this shit ever again. That was the beginning of Cappy. And then Cappy went out to Montana on a train and became the adventurer yelling at the internet, fuck you, boomer, lovable personality that he is today. And I have to thank all you baby boomers for lying about literally everything that's vitally important that I could do this as a job now. I want to thank all of you verminous scum, you lying sacks of shit, that I would not have this opportunity without you. But yeah, it was freedom. And I had to figure out what to like it, but right now, since it's so new, just enjoy it, man. Take a break. You do. You need a good break. Now, 2 weeks is a pretty good break. I'd say a month. I hope you're sleeping in. I hope you're drinking your coffee. I hope you're doing a little bit of day drinking or whatever. Do whatever it is you want to do. Recover and rest up. Uh I think just taking a break from all that hell, like, think about how absurd it is. You've been working since you were 5, and then the final coup d'etat was having to deal with some cocksucking baby boomer boss, Lord knows for how long. Absolutely take a break. Absolutely. And with you having a house paid off, your expenses are minimal. So, rest and recover. I presume you've done a little bit of that in the 2 weeks. I don't know. It's summer. Why maybe go for a road trip? What do you want to do? I'd say the next 2 weeks, do whatever you want to do. Bum around, go hang out at Glacier National Park, whatever it is you want to do, go do it. And I wouldn't worry about what do I have to do or what should I be doing. You'll naturally think about it, but I would take a little bit of time to be rest and relaxation. Go meander. I'm leaning towards you should go on a road trip of some kind because that will force you to have some downtime and sit and think. Like, oh, maybe I want to do this or maybe I want to do that. And then you'll be coming across different parts of the country and different towns. Oh, this is an interesting town. Wonder what's going on here. Don't have an itinerary. I mean, a very loose itinerary. I want to drive to Vegas, but I'm in no rush to get there. Oh my God, look at this town called Tucumcari, New Mexico. I think this is a great town. I'm going to chill out here for a bit. Although it's not that great of a town. And this is primarily recover and rest up, but give you a little bit of wandering in the desert time, a little bit of much needed time that your brain needs not to be taxed by, I got to meet this meeting. I change the font color, change the shade of the chart of the grid, deal with that minute. No. Now you get to relax, do a little bit of strategic planning, philosophize, think about what you want, where you want to go. And then, I don't know, like July, late July, then you can start thinking about what you want to strategically do more seriously. So your specific question, selling myself short when I could often be doing more. What would you doing more? What? How much more do you want to do? You've been working since you were 5. You got to realize you've done enough. I mean, yeah, you got to go back to work inevitably, but you got to realize you've done enough. Now, going forward, longer term, after you take this much needed and well deserved rest, and you go wander in the desert and you figure out what you want to do or approach things differently. Yeah, you're going to have to get back. You're going to have to go back to working, right? You're not that old. You're not independently wealthy. You're going to need a job. But going forward, yes, you will probably return to corporate America or the working world in some capacity as a chemical engineer. However, going forward, I'd say let's learn some lessons from your previous employer, some of which you're not going to control, but some things you can identify and hedge against. But going forward, it is probably inevitable you're going to have to work for corporate America or for some corporation. Like dating, now you've dated a couple girls, you know what to look out for, there's lithium in her medicine cabinet. Now you kinda are gonna screen a little bit more effectively. Now, this is harder to do with employers because with women, dating, you don't need women to survive. You need a job to survive. But you don't wanna get back into the situation where you have a boss that has, "I don't like your font color," right? So I think you have the right to screen for that a little bit more effectively. When you go and you interview, why I think you might wanna experiment a little bit. You could afford to experiment because you have a chemical engineering degree with several years in the background in a field that's hot, lithium mines with the batteries and all. Okay, yeah. Your skills are in demand. I think you have the right kind of like you're on a date with a girl and say, "Look, I want to have kids." Or if you don't or I don't want to have kids, right? It's to save time. I don't want to waste people's time, let alone yours and mine, but I'm interested in settling down and having kids. That saves them time, that saves you time. It's the same thing with employers. The reason I left my previous why'd you leave your previous employer? It's like, because of font color. And be like, "What?" I think it's a perfect and human story. Font color. Boss was complaining about the font color. I'm like, "No, there are other reasons, sure." But when I realized that, I have whatever, God, how many years experience you got? 10 years experience almost? I have 10 years experience in this, and there's important things to be dealing with, but I'm not going to sit in a meeting and discuss font color. And if that's kind of the managerial thing here where the main concerns are font color or the shades of a chart, this is probably not a fit, but I'm here to be a chemical engineer. I'm here to do chemical engineering things, designing mines, whatever chemical engineers do at mines. But I think that's great. Yeah. And no, I just took what I see you have a 2-month gap on your resume. What'd you do? Oh, I spent the summer in Glacier National Park and I went to Moab and I just rode around the West and took about a 2-month sabbatical. I think that's perfectly fine. Now, of course, the problem is, and this has nothing to do with even corporate America. You have in these United States, you have a decaying and increasingly incompetent population. Gen X bosses are no better than the baby boomer bosses. So it's no different than you got divorced from your first wife. You're looking to go back into the dating market. You're a little bit more wise. You know what to screen for. You're going to have some more upfront conversations with a prospective employer or prospective woman that you're going to date. But the selection is still absolute fucking garbage. You'll never escape incompetency at employ. It's just not because it's inherent to the population. The population is incompetent. The population is full of dipshits. And I don't care how good the employer is. You got the greatest boss in the world. They're going to hire incompetent, stupid people. So you cannot escape. You couldn't escape it beforehand in corporate America. There was always political bullshit, even back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I mean, hell, the 90s and the aughts. That's how we got built up to the .com and the housing bubble. So that's inherent to corporate America. But the reason it's inherent to corporate America is because quality and caliber of your average American is going to pot. So you're never going to escape it, right? You're never going to find the perfect woman. They're gonna do woman things. Oh my God, you hit the curb. Shut the fuck up. Because it's inherent to them, right? You like this shit and that shit. Shut the fuck up. Why are you so angry? There's no woman who's perfect. There isn't. There's just no guy who's perfect. But you can more effectively screen. And then there's things you got to do in your own life, right? So you get the micro FU fund. That's great. You have your house paid off. That's like your saving grace. You probably might want to look into getting some contract work. Hell, as a chemical engineer, you might want to look at becoming a ballroom dance instructor. Just something fun on the side. Like I would, after you rest up and you're going to go back into the labor market, aka the dating market, they're one and the same. What are you doing to screen more effectively and hedge against failure? Right? So you're going to screen more effectively. I think your font story is perfectly good to tell the HR person because you want them out too. Because if they're like, oh my God, he's not a team player because he's complaining about having to change the font color, you don't want to work for those people, right? I would get some kind of secondary job because, man, you could get by on impulse power now with no mortgage. You just go work as a bartender. You'll make ends meet. You're fine. You have barely any expenses. So now you get yourself a main girl, you're getting laid, right? And then you take your time finding a quality gal. Maybe you don't find a quality, maybe you just but I would get some other side gig, some kind of other form of employment, whether it's consulting, contracting, 1099, or you just working again, security guard, bartender, whatever it is you want to do. Now might be look, you're in jujitsu. Have you thought about doing jujitsu, like teaching the classes, or maybe a personal trainer? Just some little side thing, right? Whatever it is, whatever your hobbies and interests are, maybe there's a way for you to make 15 bucks an hour doing it. And then you save up your money, save up your money, save up your money. Okay, you go work for another company. You could tolerate them for about 3 years, but you'd leave in 3 years anyway because that's how you get promoted, but you've saved your money. Now you got a little bit more than a micro fuck you fund. Now you got some serious money. Oh, you started contracting, doing a little bit of consulting. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the industry, but I gotta imagine with your background, aren't there foreign companies with lithium mines or mining in general that might be able to use your skills or contract with you? I'd start sniffing around that world. Even something as simple as start setting up a company's website, like whatever consulting, lithium consulting, I do this and blah, blah, blah. Could you do that? I don't know what your skill set is, but I gotta imagine there are other employers out there, and if you just set up a company, I do consulting on lithium mines or mining in general. Regardless, your inventory of skills and what you can offer and what market might be out there to pay for you. But whether it's being a high-end lithium mine consultant or just being the bartender at your local bar, get some kind of side contract going on. Get another source of revenue so that when you inevitably do go back to the regular working market, the regular job market, you work for a regular employer, even if you screen well and it seems like this is great, and let's say you get a great boss, but then they swap out your boss for the new boss, and the new boss is an incompetent pain in the ass. You're ready to go. You're ready to leave. Uh, that's not your one source of income. And that's kind of what I'd be doing going forward. Yes, you are going to have to go back and work for corporate America. Yes, it's probably going to be a W-2 job, but take a much needed break. Enjoy summer, man. Enjoy summer. Whatever it is you want to do, I'd go do it, as long as it's within the budget. And then I'd come back and, think, okay, where do I want to live? What do I want to do? Blah, 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 blah. Here's a little side gig I think I might try and do. And then start applying for other jobs. But this time, just, obviously just don't take any old job. Vet the hell out of the company, Glassdoor reviews, Google stalk the boss, Google stalk the coworkers, figure out who the fuck these people are. Be a little bit more blunt and honest about what you expect and what you want when you're interviewing, but hopefully you're not interviewing with HR, but you're interviewing with the manager. Like, look, here's the management style I'm going to insist upon. Give me the tools to do the job. I might need some guidance, but otherwise get out of my way. And if I come to you, I'm like, are you going to care about font color? I really think I think we've reached peak boomer bullshit where some people are like, yeah, I'm sick of the bullshit too. Oh, don't ask about pay during the interview. Well, then why would I interview? I think that's another one out. I'm sure the pay will be fine in your case. But Raymond Thoughts and Minds is right, as is Josh Fluke and everyone else. What's the pay? And you find out, well, there is no pay, or it's like very, very low. Like, no, what's the pay? There was an article written recently how baby boomer bosses got a bunch of sand in their hoo-has and were insulted and appalled that Gen Zers are asking, well, what's it pay? And you Gen Zers have every right to ask that. I think that might even look, if your expenses are low enough and you find some kind of job and you can just impulse power along, I'd almost be doing that. Okay, what's it pay? Let's just say, and you can always, and it's honest, I like to save time. I like to save your time as well. But let's just go through some basic things to make sure there might even be an agreement. What is the pay? Like, let's just start there. Oh my God, my fraggy vaggy is insulted. I'm an HR woman. You should ask about pay. This isn't for me then. Okay, let me tell you my story about font color. Now, am I gonna have to worry about that? Are there going to be meetings? But is that because I'm not going to change font color? That's just not going to happen. I understand. There's no corporate environment without its eccentricities or its politics, but I'm never changing font color again. Here's the PowerPoint presentation. We don't like the background. Well, too bad, right? And if that's the type, well, the CEO, he doesn't like that type of color. Well, then this isn't the company for me. It's like asking on a date, well, I expect to have sex with my wife. And the woman's like, oh my God, you expect to have sex? Well, I was just planning. How dare you? You're just a dirty man, and I was going to get fat, and you should love me for me. Well, then this probably isn't the marriage for me. It is. I mean, really, it's those impolite questions that you can't ask only to empower the corporate employer and women in general. You have every right to remove the social taboo. You have every logical right to ask a prospective employer, what's the pay? And you have every right to ask women, are you going to have sex? You going to stay in shape? You're going to get fat and dry up the sex? Oh my, yeah, clutching the pearls. Fuck out of here. The correct answer from an employer, well, we want to keep you, so we're going to pay you a lot if you're the right person. Okay, now we're talking. The same girl would be like, I love sex. I definitely want to have it, but it's got to be with the right guy. Okay, yeah, that just want to make sure. But hey, do you like, that's why I have the lingerie question is a very important question. So I have the clarity relationship test. We're like, hey, I made it abundantly clear in the social circles I ran with. It wasn't the first thing I opened with, but you get to talking about girl talk, boy talk. I like, yep, my woman's gonna be dressed in lingerie, wearing heels, serving me a drink, and giving me a blowjob. She's gonna walk around in sexy heels all the time. And then there was the one gal. Oh, when Cappy was in love, when Cappy had fifis and emotions, I thought this one, here we go. And I still got the letter somewhere around here. Still got the letter where it was, God, oh man, what a chameleon. What a fucking act. Bravo, bravo. Where she convinced me she liked me too. But then there's the letter I got. I don't know how I feel about you. You just expect me to walk around in lingerie and heels and serve you drinks. It's so degrading. I'm like, wow. We got to talk about Sally right up front. We got to talk about font color. And yep, it's now the time of this. Well, that's impolite. You don't. Oh, that's impolite. Fuck you. I'm not some beggar asking for a job. I'm not some beggar asking for pussy. Are you going to pay me a living wage? Yes or no? Are you going to compensate me adequately? Are you going to have sex? And are you going to get fat? I'm done. And I'm sure there are more polite ways to ask these questions, but when you're in negotiation with an employer, you have the right to find out that information relatively soon in the process. And I'd be kind of screening and make it, with women, you don't need women to live, right? You you do need a job, but make it so you don't need that job to live. Have some other sources of income. Minimize your expenses, which you've already done. And then I would, take your time, vet, and then let's aim fall, late fall. You're getting yourself a job, like a real corporate job. First thing I do though, after you get back from your little explorer and a road trip or whatever it is that you decide to do, I'd be looking for some kind of work. I'm not kidding. I go mow yards. That's what I would do. Hell, I've been wrenching on my car. It's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. Although I'm exhausted. I ended up coming down with a little bit of a cough or something. I'm physically exhausted. Just you don't realize how much energy you're wrenching on car and then walking all over the place. Like I'm getting my steps in. Like, oh, you did 11,000 steps. I'm like, how? And you walking to and from, going to the auto parts store and walking across parking lots. Like, yeah, it's like, no wonder women were thin back in the day because you women actually had to maintain a house. I do all the chores. I hit the button on the washing machine and he doesn't. So you have every right. And here's the key thing with you, my friend. I know this is going to be you have every right to go take another month off doing what you want, and you need it to be guilt free. You've earned it, man. Take a break, okay? It's been since what, 2000? Since before 9/11 that you had freedom. Enjoy your freedom. Do whatever it is you want. You've earned it. Take a little break. And then when you get back, put a new plan together, a little bit more hedged, a little bit more diversified, a little bit more filtering, knowing full well every job you're going to get from here on out isn't going to be perfect. You're likely going to have to work elsewhere. But that should put the emphasis and the point on you saving your money and not ever having to work again and slowly or maybe perhaps quickly migrating out to 1099 employment. Link below. Not everyone can be a chemical engineer, but you can become an accountant. Oh my God, accounting. How do I become an accountant, Cappy? Well, you take this course called The World's Greatest Accounting Career. Link below or on Teachable. Why accounting, Cappy? Well, because it's something you could study online. You don't have to go to a physical school. You could teach yourself, so you don't even have to go to college. And there's ways you could get certified without having to go to college, like the enrolled agent exam. Oh my God, Cappy, can I work remotely? Yes, you can. Can I be self-employed? By gum, by golly, here comes well-endowed Molly. You can. Can I do it the day one? No, you can. You're looking at 2 to 3 years of studying, taking some tests, and you're going to have to work for somebody for a while. But it's one of the, I hate to use the word easiest. It's one of the most conducive fields right now out there to remote and self-employment. And we strongly recommend you do look into self and remote employment because sit down, everyone, sit down. Can you believe that the accounting employers like the Big Four accountants and all the other accounting firms out there are outsourcing their jobs to the Philippines and India? And can you believe that they all require master's degrees to pay you a fraction of the amount of money that they're going to bill out at? Or you could just become a self-employed accountant and go, you're going to have to work for these firms for a little bit. But maybe that's of interest to you. So take a look at it. The world's greatest accounting career. Available on Teachable, link below. Let's go to the super chats. We got 6 here. Peyton Peta, $2. I had this happen to me. I did quit that day. Yep. I know most of you do not have the money and the finances and the alternative forms of income. I got to the point where I was working security, had dance classes, and I had some online finance courses back when I was even in my 20s. That if a boss ever got lippy with me, I could quit. And yes, your bosses are going to get lippy with you. They're going to be little whiny. Look, all boomer bosses and all Gen X bosses now are like spoiled little princesses from Edina. They're bitchy, they're whiny, and they want everything just perfect. You cannot work for those people. And so you have to make sure you got something else coming in. So, yes, if that happens, like, dude, if your boss is, I don't like that font color, make it so that you can say, oh, okay, and then just leave. Like, and email his boss. You never email your boss, email his boss. You CC yourself. I'm quitting effective immediately, blah, blah, blah. And you CC yourself, your private email. Why? That way you say, nope, I quit. They didn't fire me. I was not let go. And then the boss knows, oh, shit, something's up with that. If they care. A lot of times they're just sucking each other off, your boss and your boss's boss. It doesn't matter if that's who they hired as someone who, and then you don't have to explain why. You don't have to explain why. I'm quitting effective immediately. This will be my last day. I've left the premises. leave leave your desk a piece of shit and just leave. Don't tell them why. And then when the boss or HR or whatever, well, why'd you leave? Oh, you would like employment consulting. Oh, well, I bill out with a minimum retainer of $2,500 non-refundable, and it's $300 an hour for every hour that I consult you as to why I quit and why other people are quitting. Because if you're quitting, other people are quitting. Never had anyone take me up on that offer. Say, oh, well, I'm a consultant now, and if you would like some consulting on your employment issues at your place, I can help you with that. I'm intricately familiar with your firm, actually. Matter of fact, I was there this afternoon. And dude, all these micro dick corpo employers, they have too much pride to pay you money to find out why, and that's their problem. Make sure they get the money up front and that the check cashes, right? That's it. And he's like, okay, now I'll tell you. Evan, 5 Canadian. I got out of finance when my boss bitched me out because he thought I should have reversed the order of 2 paragraphs in a short email. Yeah, exactly. Dude, you think I'm making this up. You think this guy's making up. I swear to God, the shade of gray chart story is true. I guarantee you this guy's font color story is true. I've forgotten all the bullshit I had to tolerate with boomer bosses. And I believe it. I don't like that the paragraphs are switched around. You cannot work for a mentally ill person like that. You just can't. Think about that. How little shit does that guy got going on in his life? I'm assuming it's a male employee, a boss, that he has the time to email you, say, you should have switched these 2 paragraphs around. Oh, Lester, you're going to spill beer on the couch. Fuck off. Just fuck off. And here's what's happening, and it's happening. Enough people are just not even signing up for this shit. You got the younger generations, Gen Z, millennials, had to do you guys. You got some self-respect. Like, I'm not going to college for this. I'm not going to tolerate your bullshit. I'm not doing 6 rounds of interviews. Fuck you. Oh, we can't find anyone. We got to outsource to India and the Philippines. Good. Have fun with that. Let me know how that goes. And when enough people quit, and they got turnover, right? Remember about 15 or 10 years ago, they were complaining, the younger generation, their turnover's going up. You're a job hopper. Now it's just common. Well, you can't rely. Now you got to go to the other 2 years, you go somewhere else to get your promotion. That's how you get promoted. That's how you get a pay raise. You guys aren't complaining anymore about job hopping, are you now? Because that's the industry. That's the standard. That's the norm. Because you guys are just out there. Fuck you, corporations. And fuck you, bosses. Dealing with this petulant little bullshit. You should have reversed the paragraphs. Get the fuck out of here. Tell me you're worthless. Tell me that your job should go away without telling me your job should go away. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have my PhD in labor relations. I am but a mouth on the internet. But you know who is an expert on labor relations because this person has a PhD? Professor Fuckwit's PhD extraordinaire, the man who knows everything. Now, my colleagues in human-computer interface design have done top work on the use of color schemes and data visualization and dot versus dash lines. Professor Fuckwitz, I appreciate you coming in here. See, I speculate, and that's gray. And I don't have the answers to everything, but thank God we have academians professors, PhDs in these fields to tell us the black and white truth, the yes and the no's. I'm glad you have answered it. So I'm glad that our bosses were right to lecture us about the color of the font or the charts and not the, oh, maybe we shouldn't lend money to someone with a credit score of 470. Peyton Petta, $5. I had a boomer boss complain about me using the default colors in Excel. I quit that day. Yeah. Look, guys, as slow and glacial as the movement men have been abandoning women. They have been Western women. They have been leaving women. It is slow and glacial because one individual at a time has to be convinced that this is not worth their time. This proposition of the pursuit of women is not worth their time. And they are slowly but inexorably and surely moving away because it isn't. As more and more data is released about the dating apps have been just a death knell to dating because men are like, oh my God, now it's on full display. We have gone. Think how far the needle has gone. It took 20 years, but think how far the needle has gone from where 20 years ago, yeah, I should get married and have kids. And I was like, no, that is a monumental change in the viewpoint of courtship and dating where men are like, no, we're not getting married. We're not doing this. No, I'm not. In the olden days, like, oh my God, I got to show up. What do I got to do? Men would dote on women. Okay, what do we got to do? What do we got to figure out? Okay, how do we make her happy? They don't even have red pill rage anymore. It's the same thing. There has been a slow but inexorable movement away from corporate America. 20 years ago, oh my God, corporate America, I can't wait to work for the big Fortune 500. Oh, can I work in Wall Street? Can I work in Hollywood? Oh, and now people are like, no, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm doing drugs. I'm drinking. I'm playing video. I'm doing something else. And when your bosses come in and, oh, you should, oh my God, your boss, oh, thank you for the job, boss. Oh my God, send thank you letters. Fuck you. People are moving away. And they're not tolerating your baby boomer boss bullshit antics anymore. Whether you're a baby boomer or not, that doesn't matter. You're using the default colors on Excel. Bye. Hey, good luck, buddy. Good luck. Professor Fuckwitz, PhD, $2. You could get a PhD in chart shading. It's top work. I wouldn't doubt it. Sam Whiskey, most American name in America. Hey, Loudermilk, corporate America and woman will say 5'9" required, 6'2" preferred. Loudermilk, man, that's a tragic show. I don't mean the show unto itself, like the episodes were tragic. It started out great, and then they brought in an affirmative action hire, which I do not fault the actress at all, but she had a mutilated face. And they're like, let's throw her in here because we're woke and we're edgy. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch. I don't want to see the burn victim. I don't. Same thing with what was it? What's it called? Victoria's Secrets, where they brought in the gal who was missing an arm. Tragic. She was, I believe, a war victim at a genocide in Africa, or like a war, and she lost an arm in a battle. Civilian casualty, or maiming. That's horrible. I don't want to see a stump on a girl wearing lingerie. I just don't. Again, no offense. I wish that woman the best, but no, that just is jarring. It throws me off. It's not sexy. I really don't want to have sex now when I see a mutilated arm. I feel simple. I feel like, oh God, that's tragic. There's danger afoot. I don't feel like, yep, I want to get freaky with my woman. I feel sad. But that Loudermilk, and they had Ron Livingston's a great actor. They had all the acting was great in it. And then they just got weird. One take lifestyle, $2.79 Canadian. Quitting a job with a shit boss feels amazing, no lie. I'm going to tell you something. Some of the best moments of my life, the best prize were telling bad people to fuck off. One was breaking up with a girl, telling her to fuck off. Another was telling my bosses to fuck off. It was great. They could never take. I'll never forget why. After telling my boss to fuck off and I quit, finding him, tracking him down a year later, going to his office when I found out that he got a cease and desist or like congratulating on him. I'll never forget that. It was great. Oh, it was great. You'll never. If I could say an instance to have pride, to have respect, never negotiate. Never try to, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like never squirm, never low. I've done that before. I didn't realize you don't realize you're doing it at the time. Like, no, fuck you. You're gonna be like that? Fuck you. I'm not begging or pleading with you because you got a job or a hoo-ha to somehow let me continue to get the job in the hoo-ha when you have unacceptable terms. Get the fuck out of here. Never grovel. That's what I'm saying. Oh, really? Well, you don't like this font? No, I'm not groveling. Get the fuck out of here. And here's another thing you should do. We got to start doing this. You fire your boss, right? I think we got to get that mentality in there where, because it is that. Your boss, your employer is not superior to you, and you're not superior to your boss. I mean, in some ways you might be, but it's an agreement between two entities, two equivalent entities. So when you quit, your boss is being your standard boomer kuanta ha ha. I don't like the font color. You email his boss saying, effective immediately, I'm firing name of your boss, and this will be my last day of employment here. You know, I'm firing your boss. I'm firing him. This is my last day of employment. And then, boom, you're gone. That's it. I'm firing you. You're fired, fuckwit. Because they are. And once you start, I think that would be an effective Zoomer trend. Like fire your boss and tell them they're fired. You're fired. Bring your boss in, film it. His boss and your boss, right? Bring them in. Like, yeah, effective immediately, you're fired. I'm no longer working here. I'm packed up my shit and I'm out. See ya, bye. Oh, and I filmed that, so I got evidence that I fired you. So when future employers, prospective employers call you, we now know that you're the one that was fired, not me. And just be balls in the face. Like, what are they going to do? Punch you? Now you got them on assault charges. Vic, €5. That's why I switched to network engineering from marketing. Oh God, I can't imagine. I got a buddy who works in marketing. It's all lies and backstabbing. All lies and backstabbing. You want the effing modem to work? You want those emails to work? Pay me. Yep. You want to work? Pay me. That was my friend who worked in marketing. Man, the amount of times they're always trying to screw him out of his commissions. I've known this guy for almost 20 years. There's never been an instance with no matter what employer he went with, they always try to cheat him out of the commissions. And they're always headed up by dude bros that are slightly older than him. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.